Video. It is super exciting times right now. NFL season is upon us. We got two player props here for Thursday Night Football, NFL's opening night, Thursday, September 7th, Chiefs versus Lions. Two free player props here. Before I get started though, there's a link in the description below. You can sign up for our premium Discord, $9.30 per month here. Premium Discord is where I give all my plays I'm making on PrizePicks, as well as we have other premium cappers in there that give all of their plays. Here's how we did last weekend, opening week of college football. I went 12-4. I gave 16 total plays. Went 12-4. All these plays were posted in the premium Discord. So again, go ahead and check out that link. Super supportive, positive community in there. We're at over 160 members now in the premium side. So go ahead and check out that link. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not gambling advice. These are simply plays I'm personally looking at making. Hopefully giving you guys some insight and analysis so that make your own player prop decisions. Again, no one is pressing submit on those parlays other than yourselves. And also, you guys drop a like on this video, because if you take a look at my channel, if you're new to the channel, I post content like this every single day, you guys. Free player props here on PrizePicks. So again, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on this video if you find any value from it. But let's get into it, you guys. Two player props, NFL's opening night, Thursday Night Football. Let's go. So first off, taking a look at this spread, we look at the 52.5 over under. Kansas City is going to be 4.5 point home favorites here, and 52.5 is actually the highest over under of any football game we have this weekend, right? Any football game. The next highest, I believe, is going to be this. What is this? Dolphins Chargers, which makes sense in Inglewood, but I mean, Lions Chiefs to start the NFL season. The Lions had one of the more potent offenses in the NFL last season, and we know everything about the Chiefs offense. You guys, if you're just an average football fan, you know about the Chiefs offense. But I'm looking at, looking at a first play here. It's going to be NFL first half prop. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes over 12.5. So if you're watching this video, I'm sure you see the play here and you're like, wow, I don't know about this because Travis Kelce is out. Now, I hear what you're saying, but at the end of the day, this is Patrick Mahomes against probably the weakest defense that we saw last year. Obviously, season changes, but let's just get into this. And also, too, I do think there's a chance Travis Kelce does play. If he gets ruled out, I think this could probably bump down to 12, maybe 11.5. But it would be a smash on the over for that one. But 12.5 first half fantasy score here for Patrick Mahomes. Let's get into why I like it. So obviously, the over under being extremely high at 52.5. Like I said, super high scoring game. The Detroit Lions last season gave up the most fantasy points per game to the quarterback position, the most fantasy points per game. And in fact, the Chiefs gave up the most total fantasy points because they played 3 more games. But fantasy points per game, the Detroit Lions gave up the most in the NFL. 25.8 fantasy points per game to the quarterback position last season. We take a look at Patrick Mahomes. Here's his fantasy score game log last season when he plays at home, okay? Look at, I mean, obviously this is for full game. On stat moves, you can't sort by halves yet. So by full game, right? 17.3, 19.4, 21.6, 23.8, 25.5, 30, 32, and 35. So if you just break this down, right, over 24, essentially, depending on the game script and things like that, we just need 12.6 fantasy from him in the first half. So there's a variety of ways he can do it, but let's get into some other things. So obviously, Travis Kelce is questionable, right? He's questionable for the opener, and they ruled him questionable. I know Cooper Kupp today was actually ruled out. So I think this actually helps Travis Kelce's odds of playing. You can see here, designating Kelce as questionable keeps alive the possibility he could play Thursday night against the Lions. It essentially affords the Chiefs more time to make a decision on his availability. But I think the Chiefs, the way their offense is ran, obviously it runs through Kelce. But Patrick Mahomes is the magician, but they run so many different plays through Travis Kelce. But they definitely have tight ends on the roster that can not, I don't want to say fill his shoes, but like Noah Gray, for example, is the backup tight end. And look at Noah Gray's game log last season. Like, he got work. Like, he's got multiple games with multiple catches. He had 2 catches for 20 yards and a touchdown. Here he's got 3 catches for 45 yards. And he's been in this offense now for multiple years, so he's fully integrated. He knows the plays. He knows what he needs to do. So I don't think, like, from a Patrick Mahomes standpoint, he's really going to be too worried about not having Kelce. Obviously, that has been a security blanket for a very long time, but just given how weak this Detroit Lions defense is, like I said, I don't think it honestly will have that much of an impact. We look at quarterbacks fantasy score game log last season versus the Lions. I mean, some of these QBs went absolutely crazy against the Lions. Justin Fields had 40 fantasy points. Geno Smith had 31. Josh Allen had 30. Carson Wentz had 28.8. Daniel Jones had 26.6. I mean, I just think without question, if anything, it kind of honestly puts Patrick Mahomes in a little bit of a spot to do more, in my opinion. I think, with Travis Kelce on the field, it obviously boosts him. And I think if Travis Kelce does play, this is going to get jumped up to maybe 13 flat, maybe I mean, if Travis Kelce does play, limited or not, this is an extremely solid play at 12.5 in the first half for me. We take a just even look at his last 5. I mean, these 3 misses came in playoff games. I know one of these games, I think against Jacksonville, he missed the whole second quarter. I don't know if you guys remember that, but he went over versus Vegas, went over versus Denver. This is the only real place you can see how he did in the first half as far as fantasy score goes and things like that here. But given how Patrick Mahomes has done in his career without Travis Kelce, I mean, his most recent game was in 2021, and in that game he finished with 22.3 fantasy points against a tough Steelers defense, and that game was at home. He finished with 258 yards and 3 touchdowns, so he had a 135.1 passer rating. So he's done already okay, like pretty decent without Travis Kelce, but I think if Travis Kelce does end up playing, and he's only going to play, I think, in my opinion, if he can make an impact. Like, this is not a playoff game or anything where they're going to need him out there to be a decoy or anything like that. So, and again, if you've been on the channel or watched any video from mine from last NFL season, you know Patrick Mahomes' first half fantasy score was absolute wagon. And I just think given how explosive the Lions' offense is as well, it should mean for some more possessions for Patrick Mahomes. So, and we know that the Chiefs' defense has taken a hit without Chris Jones. So, hopefully, Patrick Mahomes can get like 6, 7, maybe even 8 possessions in that first half, which should give him ample opportunity here to clear this line, in my opinion. So Patrick Mahomes' first half 12.5 fantasy score is going to be the first play on the over. The second play here is going to be NFL full game prop. It's going to be receptions, and I gave this play in my Discord actually over the weekend, so a little while ago. It still hasn't bumped. It's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs over 3.5 receptions. So for Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously he's a rookie, so there's not going to be any history here for him and how he's done. But let's just take a look at a few some positives here. So number one, last season the Chiefs allowed the most receptions to the running back position, as well as the most targets, as well as the yards per throw, catch percentage. Sorry. 4th highest catch percentage in the NFL, but the most receptions and the most targets to the running back position the Chiefs allowed last season. Now we take a look at Jahmyr Gibbs in college, right? Just his final season in college, just last year, not even a year ago, he finished with 44 receptions out the backfield for Alabama. 44 receptions out the backfield for Alabama. We take a look, that was actually the third highest among running backs in the SEC. Finished with 44, like you can see here, 10.1 yards per catch. In college, obviously, it's not going to be as high as that in the NFL, but Jahmyr Gibbs was drafted 12th overall to the Lions. They're going to play him, right? And we've already talked about this, or I've talked about this in the Discord. You can see here, Lions OC Ben Johnson says they'll use rookie Jahmyr Gibbs in some ways people don't quite think we might, right? There's been talk about him playing out of the slot. We know that in training camps, there's been reports of him playing out the slot as well. You can see here, could this unexpected use just have him lining up more as slot receiver? Are they installing some sort of wildcat package for him? We'll continue to guess the blueprint for him until it ultimately reveals itself through the games. But again, we talked about this. The 21-year-old is coming off a 2022 season for the Crimson Tide where he logged 1,300 scrimmage yards, including 44 receptions, right? We take a look at Jahmyr Gibbs. The odds here, great for us, over 3.5, minus 137 essentially on PrizePicks, minus 131, and minus 130 over on FanDuel and BetMGM. So some great odds on the over for us. We look at some running backs last year, the game log versus the Chiefs. We saw numerous guys get targets over 9 different players last season get at least 4 targets out the backfield. I mean, if Jahmyr Gibbs can get 2 to 3 targets out the slot, this should be an easy over, especially given, like I said, the 52.5 over under. Both these teams going to be passing a ton, in my opinion. Both these offenses are going to be trying to push the ball downfield. And if we take a look at the Lions, besides Amon-Ra St. Brown, they don't really have another elite pass catcher, and that's why I think it's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. We take a look at Lions running backs game log last season. We see the amount of pass catches that these guys were making, right? DeAndre Swift had 6 different games last year with over 3.5 receptions, and now he's gone, right? So they're definitely looking to replace that type of production. And last season in college football, Jahmyr Gibbs had the 5th most total targets to the running back position as well. And then we also take a look here at some targets from last season. We know Jared Goff loves to check down. We know how he kind of operates in this type of offense. We look at running backs last season, right? This is since Jared Goff joined the Detroit Lions, right? DeAndre Swift, again, he missed a ton of games. He missed 4 games here. So, I mean, this is in a 13-game sample size. He still had 70 targets, right? 70 targets. So per game, targets per game, DeAndre Swift, you can see here, 7th most targets per game, 5 targets per game. If we go back to 2021, Jared Goff's first season with the Detroit Lions, targets per game for running backs, let's just see here. DeAndre Swift, 2nd most targets per game, 6 targets per game from the running back. He had targets of 10, 7, 6, 6, 7, 5, and 11 at the start of 2021. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs, who debatably is a better pass catcher out the backfield than DeAndre Swift, number 1. Number 2, they took him 12th overall. 12th overall. When players get taken in the top 15 picks at a skill position, they are getting taken in that draft to be played immediately. He should get a ton of work here. You guys do NFL season-long drafts. You know Jahmyr Gibbs has been going off draft boards in the first 2 rounds pretty consistently. I just think minus 130 here for him to go over 3.5. I'm taking it in this game where they should be passing a lot. So Patrick Mahomes over 12.5 first half fantasy score. Jahmyr Gibbs over 3.5 receptions. Again, I drop content like this every single day, you guys. Drop a like on this video. Hit that subscribe button. As always, let's cash.